this image was running rampant on Twitter. It appeared during the CinemaCon 2022, even by Sony Pictures. While they were talking about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, they also told audiences that the sequel to the second animated movie will not be called Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 2. Instead, it will be called Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. The strangest thing is that they not only gave us the name of this third upcoming movie in the uber-popular animated series, but they also told fans the release date for the movie. We know the first movie was successful, and fans wanted to see a sequel on the big screen as soon as possible, but we think it feels a little rushed. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is supposed to air on June 2nd, 2023, and then they also told us that Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse is going to be released on March 29th of 2024. Initially, it was thought that Across the Spider-Verse would hit theaters in April of 2022, but the pandemic messed up the plans for the release date. The release date got postponed for around 14 months, which was fine. The movie has become somewhat of a modern classic. Both critics and fans love the movie so much that releasing it a year later would mean the writers and the directors would have a lot more time to work on the movie and make an amazing production. So, in some way, it was okay that they delayed the initial movie. Now, compare this to the third movie. While the second installment, in what seems to be turning into a franchise, had 5 years to develop the third movie, Beyond the Spider-Verse will get less than a year before it is featured on the big screen. Sure, they had enough time to develop both movies in the span of 6 years, but we just hope that their giant crew was working on developing a solid plot for both of these movies. Speaking of giant cast, we need to tell you that Sony revealed some shocking facts about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. The movie is going to have about 240 characters, features 6 different universes, and it has 1,000 people tirelessly smashing that like button just like you should if you haven't done so already. But no, in all seriousness, those 1,000 people are tirelessly working on the movie. Of course, they will have their hands full with the creation of 2 movies simultaneously, but we believe all of the hard work will pay off, just like it did for the first movie. They even released a little trailer, giving us a preview of what awaits us in the summer of 2023. Miles Morales, the African-American Spider-Man from Earth 1610, is featured listening to music in his bedroom. Then, out of nowhere, a portal opens up before his eyes. Miles looks up and sees Gwen from Earth 65. She and Miles were very close from the first movie, so she probably decided to pay him a visit.
Wanna get out of here?
I'm grounded.
We also know just how much Spider-Man, aka Miles Morales, loves this girl. Being caught off guard, he tries to rearrange his room, while Gwen is looking around his room. She even got to see a portrait of herself drawn by Miles in his personal notebook. Now, to say that things become awkward would be a major understatement. Right before Gwen leaves, she invites him to join her on an adventure. Miles tells her that he is grounded. She goes out the window, and Miles runs after her. As he looks down, she is standing perpendicular to the wall, wearing her signature cape, and asks him, "Is Spider-Man grounded?" From what we've seen so far, we're going to go out on a limb and say that the sequel is going to be amazing. But what about the prequel? Well, right now, it's still too early to tell anything. We know practically nothing about the movie except the title and the release date. Since we don't know much about the plotline for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, we're going to say that we don't know what the last movie in this trilogy will be about. Now, the reason we said we don't know much about the plotline for Spider-Man 2 is because we know something. We know that Sony released a little preview of what the movie will be like. Fans who attended the live event got to see firsthand what the first 15 minutes of the movie will be like. And of course, since some major news outlets were there, we know exactly what they showed. We don't have the footage, but we do know what the movie will be about. We know that the movie will start on Earth 65, after Gwen left Miles Morales and Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. Gwen Stacy is going back to her home. Captain Stacy, Gwen's father, is really close to cracking the case and finding out who the female Spider-Man is. To find the last clue to his puzzle, he needs to go to the Guggenheim, the museum in NYC. Well, instead of clues, they found a fossil. The Vulture, aka Adrian Toomes, is going to be attacking the female Spider-Man. Right in the middle of that fight, Miguel O'Hare, which we also know as Spider-Man 2099, he manages to travel through the multiverse and tells Gwen the dire news. In the first movie, we know that the crew messed with Kingpin's collider machine. This powerful contraption opened up portals and began connecting all of the multiverses. Now, all these Spider-Man characters would be mingling with one another in the movie. So now the problem is twofold. On the one hand, they have to fight the Vulture and stop him. On the other, they have to figure out what's happening in the multiverse. Now, the craziest thing about the entire movie could be the fact that Jessica Crew from Earth 1610, also known as Spider-Clone, shows up in the movie, and she is pregnant. But it's not like they find her laying in bed and on bed rest. No, she burst on the big screen with what seems like a 6 or 7 month pregnancy, riding a motorcycle, and instead of running away, she stays and fights the Vulture along with the other guys. According to the fans that saw this fight sequence, they say this is probably one of the wildest fights in the entire movie. They are fighting and demolishing everything in their path, all while discussing the problems with the multiverse. And when it comes to the Vulture, don't expect to see the mechanical suit like we did in Spider-Man Homecoming. This time, Vulture's character is animalistic and savage. He is trying to destroy everything in his path. Now, the thing that struck us as odd, when we first heard about it, is the fact that this character has a very thick Italian accent. It's a bit of a weird choice, but hey, whatever floats their boat. While all of this is happening on Earth 65, back in Miles Morales' world, things are rather calm. Sure, Miles Morales is late for a meeting at his school, but that's just what we'd expect. While his parents are waiting for Miles to show up at the principal's office, the principal tells them about his poor performance of Miles Morales. Apparently, he is struggling with Spanish. Miles eventually shows up to the meeting, and his parents are clearly angry with him. Instead of punishing him, the principal gives him a choice. He can either transfer his credits to Columbia and explore the scientific themes that he wants to uncover. Of course, his parents are against this because they think Columbia is too far away from Brooklyn. Now, we don't know what they have in store for the rest of the movie, but we have no doubt that all of those 240 characters they are developing are going to be put to good use. Speaking of a lot of characters, we loved one fan's suggestion where he said that he would like to see Tom Holland voice some characters in the third movie. And to be honest, we don't see why they wouldn't do this. They could give Tom Holland's Spider-Man an animated movie role, and we for one would be thrilled. And even if it's not in the third movie, we can settle for a short feature in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Check out these videos next.